Hello, I'd like to make a short video about Nanny State, or should we say Nurse Nanny State, to give her correct title. Maybe even a Senior Nurse Nanny State. And I can only speak from recent experience of Great Britain and the Commonwealth, UK, or whatever you want to call it, November 2023. But life has become one great big nanny state. Yeah. Which is why I'm vaping nicotine rather than smoking cigarettes, because they are far too expensive, and as an old age pensioner I can't afford them anymore, so I'm vaping instead, which actually costs planet Earth an awful lot more by the time you've disposed of all the electronics and rubbish in the vape, in landfill, or in a boat halfway back to China or wherever it came from. I myself prefer cigarettes, but I can't afford them. Nicotine being the most addictive drug known to man so far. Sherlock Holmes probably today would have sucked on a vape while he was discussing with Dr. Watson what to do about the Hound of the Baskervilles, in my humble opinion. And it won't be for much longer, but everybody is entitled to their opinion, and everybody has one. Most of them, in my experience, ain't worth diddly squat, as the Yanks would say. However, back to Nanny State, who possibly might be working today, maybe even overtime, apart from the hard-working ones that have got a long weekend to celebrate Thanksgiving in the USA, or whatever. I doubt with many... Well, when I worked in America, not many Americans got the Friday off, but they did have Thanksgiving off to celebrate Thanksgiving Day for when the Pilgrim Fathers arrived in America to slaughter the indigenous Red Indians, whenever that was, whoever that was. They'll probably tell you at school it was Christopher Columbus or something, yes. Well, anyway, back to Nanny State. I don't think it's quite as bad in America, USA, as it is in Great Britain, the Empire of Great Britain, Commonwealth, or whatever. But Nanny State is firmly in control, with its sidekick, the British Brainwashing Corporation, and they actually charge us to watch that rubbish. Can you believe it? I don't watch it personally, so I don't pay my licence. I can't afford to. I'm an old age pensioner, and my wife, ex-wife, has taken me to the cleaners, which, well, that's another film coming up on its own. But back to Nanny State, Senior Manager, Nurse Nanny State, Great Britain 2023. Well, Nanny State will just be arriving at work because it's gone 11 in the morning, apart from my neighbours that don't work because they've all got rich parents, allegedly. And they don't seem to like getting out of bed in the morning. In fact, one next door neighbour we call sluggerbed, which is an old English word which means someone too bone idle to get out of bed in the morning. And he will tend to get up late afternoon, turn the lights on, especially his fairy lights, turn the lights on and proceed to have an evening drugging which is a common form of entertainment amongst young people, drugging it so they're so at their heads they don't know what's going on, and they care even less. As long as Nanny State or the parents provide the money. Yeah. Anyway, back to Nanny State. This all started, in my humble opinion, with a Welshman called Anorin Bevin round about 1948. And being Welsh, he felt sorry for the workers who didn't really have any health care around about 1948. And he invented this monster called the National Health Service, which is the biggest drain on the UK economy at the moment. Yes. And doctors who work for this monster called the National Health Service are regarded as gods. In fact, they are so godlike that I actually know a young woman who's had a double mastectomy because some consultant had the opinion that she may have a gene which predilected her to breast cancer. So even though she didn't have breast cancer, he persuaded her to have a double mastectomy. And I feel very, very sorry for her, because such are the gods that consultants and doctors have become. But back to Nanny State, and the biggest way of implementing Nanny State is via the National Health Service, the biggest drain on the UK economy. It's a monster, the NHS. Have a look at the figures, Google it if you can be bothered. Yeah, the National Health Service is an absolute monster. We spend so much on it. Education, not that there is any. Education, health, no, we won't talk about health. We've already covered that. Education, defence, everything else comes way, way down. Yes. The National Health Service is king. You too can go and have your leg chopped off to stop you getting bone cancer of the foot or whatever they reckon. But Nanny State will be caring for you until they put you in a care home at the ripe old age of 70 odd, where you can be abused by the Nanny State as well, just to shut you up if you're of a different opinion to anybody else about the Nanny State. So we've established that the Nanny State started with an Anorin Bevin and the National Health Service around about 1948. And then we had this awful thing called socialism, where we had social services, social security, and Nanny State could implement her plans even further. No longer did you have to work to eat. No, in fact, you didn't have to work at all. There was now a career option of living on social security, and a very lucrative one as well, provided you had lots of illegitimate children by different fathers so as to diversify the gene pool. Nanny State would pay you well, and then you could just go out shopping and drinking coffee and having food, and when you felt like it, go to the pub for a few beers. Anyway, this is Nanny State, Empire, Great Britain, November the 24th, 2023. And it's getting worse, trust me, if it can.